Good evening, good evening, good evening. Now, thought a while about this video, and the question is, now 1.4 in the division hit and changed a lot of things for the better. Almost everything changed better. It balanced the game significantly. It balanced time versus reward significantly, and a lot of other niggles that a lot of the player base were complaining about, and frankly had left the game because of it. So 1.4 did that. 1.5 hit very soon afterwards, and if people were expecting it to change things significantly, they were sorely disappointed. It wasn't actually designed to do that. 1.5 was just a content add-in patch, and minor content at that. All it added in the end was new weapons, a little bit of balancing, not too much, but also, of course, the big thing that came with it was survival. And the biggest question at the minute is survival worth it? Now, obviously, if you already have a season pass, then the question is, why haven't you installed it, and why aren't you playing it? You've already paid for this product, you might as well try it out. For people who don't have a season pass and they want to just buy it straight off, then at the minute it's showing at approximately 14 euros, 14, 15 euros, and that's not too bad. Now, obviously, all you get with that is the survival expansion DLC on its own. All the other 1.5 benefits and stuff that dealing with is already there, already part of what you're doing, already free. Not going to scare you, but you run away. Come back, come back. Where are you gone?
Stay right there.
No, you stay there. Thank you. Now, if you've already paid for it, then that's not an issue. So you should be downloading it. But is it worth your time and effort doing it? It's touted at a 2-hour event. So basically you're talking about a 2-hour dungeon in World of Warcraft talk, or instance. Which is a short instance if you're used to other MMORPGs. If you're not used to other MMORPGs, then 2 hours at a time is a significant thing. And you need to make sure it's worth it, don't you? Of course, the other issue is, if you're on the fence about it, would you be interested in something? The key thing about survival is a completely different change. It's you restart the game essentially from scratch. You're dumped with nothing but the weapon in your hands. You've got the weapon in your hands, a very flimsy suit, and you're in the biggest blizzard since, well, it's minus 30 something out there in centigrades. I'm assuming it's centigrades. I've got it set to English, so I'm guessing it's centigrade. The other issue we've got, obviously, is that once you've spent all that time, what are you going to get out of it? Well, first off, you're going to get a really unique experience. Survival's not like anything that's been in the game before. Survival is far more like a game such as The Long Dark. People have compared it to DayZ, but I don't think that's really a fair comparison. it has some elements in there, but certainly if you do a run solo, then it's much more something like an individual survival game, like the Long Dark, which is much more based around surviving the environment rather than the enemies. And that is actually the key to winning in survival, in a survival event, is avoiding conflict as much as possible and sneaking past, getting the goods that you want, getting the items that you want, and moving on from there. Now, I'm not going to give tips and hints. I've only completed it a couple of times myself. But obviously, as I was saying, the bonuses that you get from it. Now, just an example. I completed a solo run. And when I completed the solo run, I came back with 12 sealed caches. Four or five of them had double weapons in them. 3 had 4 sets of items in them. So if you multiply that by the sealed caches I had, the number I had, and then that's 2 to 3 in each one, and a little handful of them had 4 in each. That's a lot of weapons, a lot of mods, and a lot of gear that I came back out with. For my run was hour and a half. And I came out really thinking that was worth the time. Now, the only drawbacks that I think about survival are is that because it's so different, I think it's potentially going to get boring quickly. Do you think is probably the wrong word? It's going to get predictable. It'll get predictable quickly. Even though the spawns are in different places, the item drops seem to be in the same places. Obviously, the items within the dark zone are always in the same place. Excuse me. And because of that, it's going to be easy to formulate a plan of action to get the items you need, get to the dark zone, get to the extraction, get out. Especially if you got your priorities right and you have a plan built around for once you get into the dark zone and what your priorities are and what you need to get. Now, I must admit, I've been running on wrong priorities in that respect. I've been working off wanting to get into the dark zone, get the items that are part of my job that I'm supposed to be getting as part of the mission, and then get out. Talking to some people who are a bit more used to the dark zone and how things are supposed to work, that isn't actually the best plan. Now, we'll not work on from there, I'll let you work out the rest. But the drawback I can see, as I was saying, from survival is that it could get predictable. Now, how they rotate the spawn zones, how often they rotate the item spawns, the quantity of items they have and stuff like that, that's all possible that they'll do that sort of thing in the future. It's quite I would imagine it's fairly simple for Massive to do something like that. It's not something that's going to make it impossible, but it would certainly make the game more interesting, and those 2 hours, hour and a half, 45 minutes, however long it takes you, will take a much more meaning and be much easier for you to accept, especially if you come out with such a large haul of items. Now, though obviously their drawback is that the items you get, it's all praying to RN Jesus, exactly what you get. You might not get anything worthwhile at all, or that you wanted particularly. I myself have come out with some the new weapons, not necessarily ones that I wanted, but I got new stuff. I got some decent mods, and that's helped me do with my build. It's helped me move slightly further forward, and I think that's the idea behind it. It's just another completely different experience for you. It's something that Massive have thought about and worked hard on to get sorted. I think it's worth the money. If I hadn't bought the season pass, I would definitely be looking to buy it as an individual, certainly at the price it is now. As I say, 13, 14, 15 euros isn't much. And if you get, say, 8 hours worth of gameplay out for that, then that's worth it as well. Because at the end of the day, we spend more than that on a game which lasts longer. Doesn't last as long. And you know, if you're gonna invest £15 in a game, quite often it's usually rubbish off Steam. Not many of them pass the muster these days. There are some good ones out there, obviously, but there are also a lot of complete jokes out there, overhyped, overpriced, and you can't say fairer than spending £15 if you're going to get say 8-10 runs out of it, and that's 8 to 10 hours, maybe even more. It's all got to be worth the investment in the end of the day.
You're an inspiration.
And to me, this game is all about enjoying the moment, the environment, enjoying the experience of wandering around. As you can see, I'm doing now. This is live commentary, hence the pauses, the coughs, the shoddy workmanship. But then this is the experience to have. To me, Massive have created a wonderfully vibrant and alive version of New York, or Manhattan, shall I say, to be more exact. It's worth exploring. There are new things that I find every day, even after my 200 plus hours. Not just enemies. It's not just enemies that I face. The other day I was on a rooftop, walking past some ducting, and there was a man inside, coughing. He'd been hiding in there. He thought I was his partner, and he complained that he had the sniffles again. It was tucked in like this. I just walked past it, I knocked it, and he started talking to me. What's that? I mean, who builds that in a game? Where are these? There are Easter eggs everywhere. You need to get out there and have a look. The other thing about this game, obviously, that I like is that because they've built such a vibrant New York and everything is so realistic, when you go out in survival and they've blanketed it in that thick snow, everything's different. You think you can find your way around these streets? Yeah, you can do like this. If you can't see 10 feet in front of your face, you get lost. And so many times I get lost, and I only recognise places when I stumble on them. A lot of the time people complain that they can't fight the enemies there. Don't fight the enemies there. Don't do it. Survival isn't about winning everything, every battle, every gunfight. It's all about survival, and being about survival means picking and choosing your fights, when to run, when to sneak, when to get out, when to ignore things. And very often I've made the mistake myself and died because of it. You just get greedy. But I think as a gameplay experience, I think that survival DLC and the survival game mode is really worth the money. I would be happy to recommend it. 1.5 unfortunately has brought some annoying bugs in, various mic errors, delta errors, which we all thought they'd been long gone. But as I speak on the 28th, or rather it is now the morning of the 29th, Massive Ubisoft have said that they are bringing out a patch in this next 24 hours. that will solve that issue, and some of these mic and delta errors will be gone, hopefully. So just keep watching, be patient with the game, and see you go from there. And until next time, I'll sign off, and keep the street clean, keep your ammo dry, and take care. Good night.